Not a real big demographic, but it does make a difference to help people when it comes to surviving and thriving in the first world police state. I've helped mitigate this property. Jack, who works with the health department, has come by and made some donations. But you can see we've moved the fountain out here. This is a old church building, United Methodist church building. Stacked up this garbage, hoping to get a dumpster out here. But it's literally sitting unoccupied and not used. And as a pastor and a planter, this would be ideal for a church to come into. And so as God wills, this is about the second church that I've gone to and done cleanup and mitigation while I'm there. They actually pay people to perform those services while they own the church to limit liability, including things like closing that gate off. People have ridden through. A big old guy fell yesterday. But also to keep it real, I've had so much stuff stolen and taken from me by strangers, like a toolbox stolen from here yesterday, that it makes it kind of difficult. So you have to just keep the faith and know the main intentions of the law. One is to do no damage, do no harm. You have no victim, there's no crime. And most people actually miss that. And then getting proper permission. So surviving and thriving in the first world police state requires being innovative. Here's a trunk I use that I've got all of my silverware and stuff that's in there, backup sets of clothes. This is a tub for my clothes. And over here, of course, is just your basics. Laundry, chairs. So use what you got. At one point I had $500,000 in the bank account. My book of business was probably worth $25 or more million, I would estimate. If it was, all the cases were properly filed and panned out, minimum of 5. And yet with 2 houses, several vehicles, 2 businesses, a domestic court, being dishonest, just one dishonest lawyer, and one judge who refused to call that lawyer out, and then subsequent to that, one dishonest fraternal order police cop who worked to conspire to steal my property with the Alabama State Bar. I will never change that story because that's true, and that's crucial to surviving and thriving in the first world police state. Truth and only the truth. Truth or silence, truth and jest. Doesn't matter how much, more or less, truth is always going to be best. So be sure you maintain who you are as an original. Don't try to pretend to be anybody else because it'll cause covetousness, and be happy for other people. I gave all my wealth away to the church, and then it built it back up when everything was basically taken from me unconstitutionally. But it hasn't affected my joy because I maintain my patterns, and I've got the simplicity of faith. That's a beautiful thing. So Lord willing, this facility will get open back up. I'm not sure if we'll do it or somebody else will do it, but mitigation is a property phase, typically during transition. This building has no construction defects or issues. So you can see it's left open. This portion here of the door can lock at night. So I've got a key up here. Jack from the health department and another Methodist church have been notified that I'm mitigating the property. But you can see there's a lot of cleanup. Some trash I've removed and put out there. It's actually really dark in there. I'm just basically sleeping in a room. And an office. Setting a bunk up just like I did at West Point. Sleeping just on a basic bunk and treating it like a military cadet barrack. So survive and thrive by doing what you can, what you got. I get up and go to work out at Crunch Gym or some other gym every day and shave. Then I go to Mass or the library and work my journalism, of which I get very little pay. I presume my ex-law partners support me in large part because we're still working through cases, but because I'm actively doing journalism, and a lot of that impacts the law. So despite not going into some of the courtrooms, which I would find offensive to be going into anyway, but the way they handle some of these cases, don't ever give over your integrity, your purpose. I think I'm still having as much or probably more impact than I've had before I began to really get scandalized and abused. Sometimes, like Britney Spears moving to Mexico. She didn't move to Mexico because America's de facto free. She moved to Mexico because people kept picking and picking and picking and picking at her through endless dockets and questions that humans only have so much energy and tolerance of nonsense. So others' insecurities and their inadequacies, because if they act in mortal sin, that's an inadequacy, should not affect your spiritual health. You can stay happy no matter the circumstances. And I've shown some videos earlier of deer coming up here. I've got a guy that's helping me clean up over here named Kevin that is a homeless man that sleeps. I guess I consider myself a homeless pastor. He'll sleep in one of these rooms or he'll sleep up there. And we're in covenant that no killing, no sexual perversion, no stealing, no false witness. Let's survive and thrive. And so he goes out there and begs for food, which I don't think is appropriate, but I'm not going to chastise him. Watches the premises. He failed in some regard because I had tools stolen, but that's just kind of how it works. Keep moving forward and God will always provide. So peace be with you. Survive and thrive in a first world police state by understanding the intentions of the law, remaining constitutional, putting the proper people on notice, and of course getting proper permissions when there's phases like mitigation phase of a closed down church. Fortissimo, God's love and my love to you and my prayers. Bye for now.